Okay, during the break there was a question about the expiration. If the listing contract expires, yes, I can go back out to my client and say, it expires tomorrow, but I think we've got some more people interested. Can we sign a new contract? Yeah, they can create another listing agreement or extend that one. You can modify that listing agreement, or you can write a whole new one. But yeah, and you can have multiple of those in a row. But he literally could say, no, I don't want to work with you. I've got another agent now. My sister just graduated school. I'm going to let her list it, and there's nothing I can do. Because it expires, it expires. All right?
So if you write a new one instead of just extending it, do you have to redo the whole MLS listing? Or is it the same?
Black, white, gray. All right? Should you put a new listing in? I would say, yeah, it's a new listing. Will you? Probably not, because of the time involved and all the pictures that are already there and all the stuff. You would probably just go in and modify the listing and change the expiration date. All right? There used to be an old trick that you can't do in the MLS anymore, is to hide the number of days it was on the market so that no one would see that it's been on the market for 6 months, and now they're motivated. So you would literally put a new one in just so it would say, oh, it just came on the market yesterday. Now they've changed it so it's called combined days on the market. So it'll pick up that old listing, so there's really no reason to put a new one in, because it'll say 1 day, but maybe 900, meaning 900 combined 1 day with this one. All right? How long are the listings usually? I don't know. I hate to say there's a standard, because that would violate Sherman Antitrust Act. Typically 6 months. That's a good number. It also depends on the market. In 2009, when the market was real slow, I know I signed a couple 1-year listings. Also depends on the property. Commercial, not uncommon to have a 1-year listing, because you have to find that one buyer throughout the whole United States. In today's market, as fast as it's going, I've seen 3-month listings, because they know they're going to sell in 5 or 6 days. It's pretty much whatever your managing broker wants you to do. And we like nice round numbers, half a year, 6 months. All right? Any more questions about termination? Nope. Let's talk about agency and the different types of agency there are. We have been using the word agency. I said we create agency. There are several different levels, if you will, of agency. And like I told you earlier once before, you see this in real estate a lot. There's a big one, and then there's little ones underneath it that are like subsets. Remember, the general warranty deed had 5, and the special warranty deed had just 2. So you see this, and you're going to see it later in leasing as well, where you see a big one and then subsets. Here's another reason. There are 4 different types of agencies I want to talk about. The biggest one is called universal agency. Universal. That means the agent can do anything their client can do in any area of the client's life. The only thing I can think of they can't do is vote for them. We call it what? Power of attorney. A power of attorney is a universal agent. You may get granted power of attorney for your parents at some point when they get elderly, and you can do anything that person can do. You can enter into contracts, you can sell property, you can buy stuff, you can trade deals, all kinds of stuff in their name, and you would sign it as power of attorney, right? That's a universal agent. They can do anything that person can do in any area of their life, except vote's the only one I know they can't do. Can't vote power of attorney. All right? So that's the big mamaluca, universal. Then under universal, you have this thing called a general agent. A general agent can do a lot of things, but typically only in one area. The best example of a general agent is a property manager. A property manager may enter into a lease contract. They may market the property for sale. They may pay the bills of that property. They may do the banking. So they're doing several different functions, but only for the property that was given to them. 12 Smith Street. So the investor hires a property manager for just that one building. He may do all that, but he may have other buildings over here. But that property manager may not have those on those other buildings. All right? So a property manager is a good idea. Does a lot of different things in just one area. All right? The other agent is called a special agent, like License to Kill, 007 Special. A special agent can only do one thing in one area of a person's life. Can you think of a good example of a special agent? A broker, right. We are hired to either list the property on that one property, that's it, or buy, depending on what side of the table. You're hired to do one thing. I'm listing it, or I'm helping them find a buyer. I'm not doing their laundry. I'm not voting for them. I'm not going to the bank. You will get several times in your career, someone's going to call you and go, hey, are you the listing agent on 12 Smith Street? You go, yeah. They go, can you mow the lawn? It's awful tall and I'm the neighbor. No, I do not have the responsibility of entering into a contract with a lawn care company and mowing their lawn. I will tell the seller that their vacant home has yard is long, but I can't do that. Or maybe a property manager could have. He has the ability to hire a lawn care company to mow lawns. Special agents don't. I only got hired to list the property. And I would tell that person, see the sign in the yard? Yeah, that's what I do. I had one call me one time. They go, hey, are you the listing property at something Richard? I'm like, yeah. They go, hey, the door kicked open and I saw some guy go in. Well, call 911. What are you calling me for? I'm not going to show up. Unless, of course, he wants to buy. You know. But I doubt the conversation's going to go that direction. Yeah. Would you like to buy the property? No, I'll just here to rob. Okay, call me if you need to buy a house. Here's my card. Literally, they called. I'm like, well, call 911. Okay. Good idea. I hadn't thought of that. Hello, McFly. So that's a special agent. I listed a property, a friend of mine's property, a good friend, I mean, probably my best friend since third grade, and so I could mess with him a little bit, and I literally did. And this is really the truth, because he listed my property, the other way around. I listed Brent's property, and Brent said, what are you going to do to sell my property? Absolutely nothing. Because I'm not the selling agent on this property. I'm the listing agent. My job is to market your property for sale so that one of you guys that has a buyer will see it, bring your buyer, and sell my listing to your client. That is one of the largest misconceptions that every person has in the world, because they ask you, oh, when you list my house, what are you going to do to sell it? You really would love to tell them nothing. That's not my side of the deal. Now, if somebody calls me and says, I saw your sign in the yard, can you show me the house? I become a limited agent. I get permission, and I show that buyer that house. I can do that, but guess what? I'm not doing that as the listing agent. I'm doing that now as the selling agent. Same person, but the function I'm serving while showing that buyer the house is not any function to do with a listing agent. It's a function of a selling agent. So theoretically, Brent's face is like, what? Because I knew I could mess with him. I'm like, yeah, that's really how it works. Most of us go, oh, well, I got some buyers. Let me list your house. I can deal with some. That's not what listing agents do. Listing agents just list the property. They make it for sale. I market it on the MLS. I'll put it on, Facebook. I'll have open houses. I'll do all that. But my job to bring a buyer typically, or as work with the buyers, that's the selling agent's job. I might end up as the selling agent, but certainly wouldn't be acting on your behalf. I would be acting on their behalf in that particular situation. So you never really want to tell them that, but that's what you feel like telling them because that's the truth, how it really works. There's one more agent that's not written in the book that I want you to write down. It's called a designated agent. Designated. A designated agent is someone that has the capability of being an agent that is working for me. Welcome to the party. That's you guys. I'm the special agent. There's only one of me in my company. I have signed an independent contractor with you to represent me or be my designated agent in these deals. So like I said, you come running in and say, I've got a new client that's my mother. I'm like, no, you don't. I have a new listing that's your mother because I'm the only agent there is, but I will designate you to work with her and you have my permission. And on top of that, I will split some of the commission with you that we agreed upon when we signed our listing, our independent contractor. All right? They are all my listings. They are all my clients. It's all my money. You and I have a deal on the side, so to speak. So you guys will all be designated agents for me, the special agent. All right? And I can have multiple agencies at the same time. And I can have multiple mixes at the same time. For instance, I'm a power of attorney for my mother. But I'm also a listing agent for a house in Bloomington. And I'm also a selling agent with the buyer, but I also do property management. So I have a universal agency, I have several special agencies going on, and I have a general agency with one investor. I can do multiple agencies at the same time, and you want that so that you can keep balls in the air and get paid multiple money. You don't want to be just one client's agent, and when you're done, be another client's agent, and then when you're done, no, you may have 2 or 3 sellers going at the same time, and 2 or 3 buyers going at the same time. They're all special agent, but you can still have them going at the same time. Okay? Under one of our rules, we have to disclose agency. Duh. These next couple forms are forms that were born out of court cases. All right? What that means is there was a lawsuit, so we created this. We have touched on this term called the written office policy. If you guys remember, what's the written office policy? The written office policy explains the terms of agency to your client so that they can't later down the road go, oh, well, I really didn't understand you were my agent, so I don't think I have to pay you. No, we explained what agency was. Then we signed the listing agreement, which created the agency. So you have to disclose agency to your client. And you have to do that to both your buyer side and your seller side. So you would sit them down and go, okay, before we sign this listing agreement, let me explain to you what a listing agent is. A listing agent has 6 fiduciary responsibilities. They're care, obedience, loyalty, disclosure. I keep all those. You tell me what you need to know. If I was your selling agent, I still have those same responsibilities. If I'm your limited agent, then I do them for both sides. Do we understand all this? Yes. Sign the written office policy. Now that you understand what agency is, let's create it by signing the listing agreement. Everybody see where I'm going? The example that I used before was the positive power coefficient in a nuclear reactor. We could talk about it all day. But if you guys don't know what it is, it doesn't do you any good. So I would have to explain it, then talk about it. So that's what we do. We tell our clients or disclose what agency is, how it works, so that they are 100% understand it. Then we create the agency by signing them a listing agreement, or the buyers, whichever side you're on. So you've got to have the written office policy first, then create the agency. I see a couple deer in the headlight look. Everybody get it? So before you can create it, you must disclose it. On page 150 is a sample agency relation that looks nothing like what we have, so move on. Barring maybe one or two questions, and I'll tell you which ones, there is never a question about a form on the exam. All right? Because this book is used in multiple states, and every state has their own commission with their own forms. So the Indiana listing form looks different than the Ohio listing form. All right? So there's never going to be a question that says, like, on line 37 of the listing agreement, don't worry about it. Now, we will cover the lead-based paint agreement line by line, and we talked a little bit about the seller's disclosure form. But other than that, we can skip most of them. Single agency.